Well, it's been a couple of months of volatility in the cattle markets. So Derrell, what are the chances for profitability in 2022?
You know, cattle prices are significantly higher now than they were this time last year. We expect that to continue, and we're expecting higher prices on average in 2022. So that's not really the issue. Revenue side is going to look good. Obviously, cost is going to be the challenge this year. Input prices across the board are higher, and so that's really going to be the factor that determines profitability. Individual situations vary a lot, but producers are going to have to figure out a way to try to manage these costs. And that will determine the prospects for profitability for them.
You know, early in the show we talked to Dave Lawman about one management strategy in culling cattle. So what are some other management strategies that producers can take?
Yeah, you know, obviously, to the extent that we can cull down and maybe just run less cattle this year, you know, in general, if you think about cattle production, feed cost is going to be your biggest cost factor most of the time. So managing that. Now, depending on what kind of pasture you have, introduced forages, you're going to need fertilizer, you know, for both hay production and pasture production. You know, one strategy is to just try to need less hay. Hay is more expensive than grazing, so put your emphasis on the grazing side, plan that, and plan now for how you can manage grazing through the year so that you can actually need less hay and save some cost on you know, just producing less hay this year as we go forward. So all of those things, some targeted fertilization of both pastures and hay ground will probably help you save a little bit on that fertilizer bill.
You know, drought has just been on top of mind for pretty much everybody. We have got some rain, but just only in parts of the state. We don't know when we're going to get any more, obviously, because it's Oklahoma. But so, you know, going forward, what can producers do in that regard?
You know, the drought is a big dark cloud hanging over us at this point. Obviously, if the drought conditions, you know, get worse going forward, then we're not going to have a lot of options. And so we're going to be faced with some serious, you know, herd liquidation issues. And it's widespread. It's not just Oklahoma. It's across much of the West. So we could see some broader market impacts as well. So we need to monitor that carefully going forward. It's going to depend on where you are, kind of east to west in the state. We've gotten a little moisture in the central and eastern part that helps for now. But really, the drought could rev back up here anytime and really be a serious factor in just a matter of a few weeks.
So what are some things that actually impacts when with that, you know, herd liquidation? How does that actually going to impact just the consumer?
Well, you know, in the short run, when we have a liquidation, it puts more, you know, more meat on the market, if you will. It shows up mostly in the cow market initially. We're going to have increased cow slaughter or continued higher cow slaughter. But, you know, that's a short run impact potentially, is that we get some moderation on meat supplies. Later on, it means that we get even tighter. And so it kind of changes the timing of things in terms of, you know, when we get that product and so on. The net effect is for consumers, I don't expect to see a lot of relief on beef prices anytime soon.
All righty, thanks, Derrell. Dr. Derrell Peel, Livestock Marketing Specialist here at Oklahoma State University.